how do you think I got to be the graduation speaker? Wow, thanks so much. I am very proud, so proud to represent the class of 2015. When I look out here, I feel like I'm having a deja vu. When I started at Harwood in 1977, the names of the students included Sweets, Spragues, Yandows, Martins, Belknaps, Culvers, DeFriests, Ferrises, Cathans, Kellys, Mateers, Lamsons, Parkers, Potts, Woodruffs, and many more. You guys are all still here. I would like to welcome all of you, our Superintendent Bridget, our Chairman of the School Board, Deb Hunter, and of course Lisa and Amy. It's really good for me to know, standing up here, that these fine women have my back. I'd also like to welcome fellow members of the esteemed faculty, including Mike Coyle, parents, grandparents, and all the friends and relatives of the members of the class of 2015. And also, you people, there's not much to do in South Duxbury, you people that just come to these things. Congratulations to the graduates. It took you 4 long years of hard work here at Harwood to get where you are. Guess what? It took me 40. All right, Belknap, Brad Belknap, Ferris, knock it off, ready to get started here, let's go. I'd like to introduce my friend here, you can see. We've been together for Harwood for a long time, and we all have skeletons in our closet. I just thought I would bring mine out in the open today. We will recognize our emaciated friend later. I occupy a unique niche here at Harwood. I've been a science teacher and coach here for 38 years. Although I am not one of the original teachers that started in 1965, I am the only remaining teacher that taught with the first faculty and staff members of Harwood, many of whom helped to guide me. You know, during his time of discovery, people asked the great scientist, Isaac Newton. He said, Isaac, what made you such a great man? After all, you discovered the laws of motion and gravity, and you could explain the movement of the sun and the stars. And Newton said, I made these discoveries because I could see very clearly. I learned from all the great scientists that came before me. I stood on the shoulders of giants. This morning, I feel like I am standing on the shoulders of all the great teachers and administrators who preceded me. Harwood's giants, Don Jameson, Harry Brusa, Corky Griffith, Harry Yendo, Jimmy Izor, Ed Tatajewski, John Hoskowitz, and George Hall. I am so proud to represent this great school. Harwood is unique. We are composed of the residents of 6 isolated towns. The students are very different in their backgrounds and their learning styles. For example, I always knew when I had a prickly mountain kid in class. Their train of thought was just a little different than the others. You know, we are different, but we are united. Recently, a parent of a Montpelier track athlete approached me, and he said, you know, Kerrigan, we're afraid of you guys. I said, what do you mean? He said, over in here in Montpelier, he says, we're one kind of people. We're all like normal. He says, we're all homogenous. He said, you guys, he says, you're all different. He says, and you all seem to get along with each other. We're afraid of you guys. I said, good. Just the name Harwood is unique. It wasn't named for a president or famous astronaut, as many of the schools founded in the 60s were. Many schools in Vermont are named for geologic features. Mount Mansfield, Crossett Brook, Twin Valley. Some are named for the town where the school resides. Milton, Colchester, Essex. Some are just plain weird. Union 32. Yeah, a lot of creative thought went into naming that school. Our school is named for a local town doctor, a gentle, caring man. Dr. Charles Harwood would make house calls during nor'easters. He used a special Model T Ford outfitted with skis to reach his patients. It is said that he helped deliver into the world many of the children that became Harwood students. How many of you out there were delivered by Dr. Harwood? Our founders also used a Highlander as our mascot, and to emphasize the topography of our region. We are located on the geologic divide separating the Mad River and Winooski valleys. It seems appropriate. How proud I have been all these years to be represented by a guy in a kilt that threw rocks and sticks at the English authorities. But the Highlanders were creative. They used whatever resources they could find to protect themselves and also to provide sources of entertainment. The legacy of that spirit has been acquired by our students. I always thought that if the VPA allowed a sports team that included skateboarding, teasing small defenseless animals, and blowing up stuff, Harvard students would be state champs every year. So I asked, why did the seniors choose me to be their speaker? I think maybe they chose me because I have been a bit of a rebel, a maverick. I'm a little like the Highlander. So maybe the seniors could identify with that rebellious image. I have not always agreed with the administration, but there is at least one thing that they got right. They allowed me to be the 2015 Commencement Speaker. I would like to compliment them on their bravery. Are you guys a little nervous? Yeah, you should be. I know the Harwood students like me. Yep. There was a time when they tried to protect me. A friend recently told me that less than 1% of the population gives blood. And it reminded me of something that happened here about 15 years ago. The Red Cross Bloodmobile came to Harwood. It was actually shortly after 9/11. I thought I would do the patriotic thing and give blood. So I gave up my prep period and I got online. The line moved slowly. So slowly, not only did it take my entire prep period, but I also lost my lunch period. It was now threatening to cause me to miss class. Being the conscientious teacher that I am, I did not want to miss class. I had a great lab plan for my students. Besides, I may be hauled into the office for leaving my students unattended. And it wouldn't be the first time. When it was my turn to get on the stretcher and donate, I had 8 minutes before the start of class. I asked the nurse, "How long will this take?" She replied, "About 20 minutes." I did not want to be late for class. So I squeezed out the blood quickly by contracting my fist as rapidly and forcefully as possible. I had filled that donation bag in about 1 minute. The nurse came over and saw the filled bag and looked at me in shock. I said, "Yeah, I know. I've always been a fast bleeder." She said, "You don't look so good. How do you feel?" I said, "I feel great." I felt terrible. I asked, "Can I go now?" And she said, "Oh no, we have to monitor you for at least 10 minutes, and then you should have some juice and a snack." She walked away. As soon as she turned her back, I got up off the stretcher and wobbled to my classroom. As I was standing giving pre-lab instructions to the class, something came over me. Suddenly, I crashed and hit the floor. I was in a semi-conscious state. I could hear my students, but I could not respond. They said, I heard them say, "Oh no, what did Kerrigan do? He must have done something really stupid. You know, the principal doesn't like him. If the principal finds out about this, Kerrigan's going to get fired. What are we going to do?" I don't know. Oh, I have an idea. Let's hide him. So the two smallest girls in the class dragged me by my ankles and into the back room. Now, it was very obvious they had not taken driver's ed with Keith Mullins yet, because they did not allow for wide turns. And they ended up smashing my head on the door frame. Several of the students did give me some medical assistance. After all, it was human physiology class. They propped up my feet with a backpack and put the fire blanket over me. Every once in a while, a student would come back and ask me a question, since I hadn't really finished explaining the instructions. The students completed the lab, and they all cleaned up. One student came in and took his backpack from under my feet. And when the bell rang, they all put their chairs up, since it was the last block of the day. They shut the lights and exited the classroom and left me. It was not until several hours later that the night custodian found me. I'm thinking maybe they chose me to speak because I am so prophetic. No, Bernie, not pathetic. Prophetic. You know, I could see into the future, and I could recognize the talents of my students. You know, when I first started teaching, I told my astronomy students that there were 9 planets, and that someday scientists would discover, astronomers would discover many more. And by the time they were adults, there would be dozens of planets. You know how many there are now? 8. In the late 1990s, I had a female student, kind of a crunchy, granola, hippie type girl from the valley, in my human physiology class. She was late every single day, usually with a cadre of boys following her to the classroom. Finally, one day, I got the class started, and I waited in the hallway for her. When she finally arrived, I asked her, "Why are you late every day?" She said, "Well, you know, I'm working on my song. I'm up in the music room with Bruce. I'm gonna be a rock star." I looked her straight in the eye and said, "No, you're not. You will never be successful at anything unless you get a good education. You need to become a better student, which starts with getting to class on time." Who was this student? I will give you a hint. She just sang with Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones last weekend in Minneapolis. Yep, Grace Potter. I just bumped into her hiking a couple weeks ago, and she doesn't hold it against me. As you can see, I am not prophetic. I can't recognize talent. I make poor decisions and give bad advice. So what words of wisdom can I share with the class of 2015? I didn't know what to do. So I did what every Harwood student does when they have a major project to complete. I Googled. And I watched YouTube videos. I watched Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and others give commencement addresses. One of the best speeches I saw was that of Sandra Bullock's. The advice she gave to the graduates of her old high school was the same she gave to her four-year-old son the first time he was headed to daycare. Play nice with others. Don't worry if not everyone likes you. Start every day with a dance, and you will walk a little lighter all day. Go find your joy, she said. Well, I'm no Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and certainly no Sandra Bullock. The advice I give has to come from my heart and from my experience working 4 decades with Harwood students. I only hope it will be better than the advice I gave to Grace Potter. Before I attempt to do so, let me tell you about the class of 2015 and what makes them unique. They're one of the smallest classes to graduate from Harwood, less than 110 students. It is the last class to have members that even have a vague recollection of 9/11. While watching the tragedy on TV, 4-year-old Kaylee Ferris remarked to her grandmother that she saw angels rising from the smoke. It is not the first, but hopefully the last Harwood class to tragically lose a classmate during their 4-year tenure. They're the first class to have a 2-time All-American in any sport. Sam Nishi did it in cross country. They are also the first class to have a presidential scholar, thanks to Charlotte Caffrey Randall. This class can boast of having 4 National Merit Scholars. Did you know that 1/4 of all the National Merit Scholars in the state of Vermont for 2015 are graduating from Harwood today? It is the first class to have over 1/2 exchange students receiving their high school diplomas. The countries of Finland, Taiwan, Japan, Italy, Mexico, China, and Hungary are represented by our graduates today. And for about 2 years, I thought Henry Hermanowski was an exchange student. Athletically, they are arguably the most successful class ever in Vermont. They have won 16 state titles in 4 years. 8 of these have been in cross country. The other 8 are combined among field hockey, golf, ice hockey, and track. I asked the graduates to share with me some of their individual accomplishments and interests. Before I tell you what they said, I just need to check in with somebody here, my buddy, Michaela.
Aww.
Michaela, I'm doing okay.
I missed you.
I will too. Listen to some of the accomplishments of the class of 2015. Melena Johnson is a singer, and she has secretly cut a CD. I have an advanced copy. Melena, hit it for us. Melena, you can purchase her CD at the end of the ceremony. Lena Osawa has declared that she may be the first Japanese student to ever graduate from Harwood. Emmerich has indicated that he may be the best Call of Duty player in the world. And you can see his time in Harwood was spent wisely. Martha told me that she likes math, and she likes to make people laugh. Math and laugh? I don't get it. Martha, there is a career in there somewhere. You know, I think you would be an excellent teacher for the Harwood Feel-Good Math program. You know the one our students call Kumbaya Math.
I was in that class.
Marcus will be attending college in France. Au revoir, Marcus. Keenan tells me that he is just plain awesome. Keenan, never let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah, Keenan!
Maddie has had her writing published in Vermont Life. Cam Brusa, I taught with your grandpa. Harry had a big heart and the warmest smile. Look up, Cam. You're gonna have to look around at 10, I think. because he's smiling down on you. Abigail and Sam want to become professional dancers. You guys know, you already know, that dance is the hidden language of the soul. John told me that his favorite book ever is Moby Dick. John, I hope you capture your white whale. Vikram has helped raise over $10,000 for a school in India. He also donated half of his salary to that school for supplies. Ray Parker, you received the George Hall Science Award last night. George had an infectious laugh, and he also had your quick wit. He would have really liked you. Kate wants to travel the world. Maybe you can start, Kate, with Ireland. Lauren says that she wants to be a psychologist, but if she can't be a psychologist, she just wants to be a very nice person. Now, Lauren, in the past few months, I have visited with several psychologists, and I am pretty sure that you can do both. You are already a nice person. Dylan told me that he loves baseball and wants everybody to know that in one baseball game, Matt Barron split his head open. Several of the graduates told me they regret they took their time at Harwood for granted. Many said they wish they had worked harder. One student remarked, "If I could go back, I would have tried harder. I would have more doors open for me." Well, Gabe, there's always a way. If you can't walk in the front door, climb in through a window. Lexi, Lindsay, Ethan, and Amanda all agree that Mr. McLeod is the spirit animal of Harwood. It is true, the Harwood Highlander descends from the McLeod clan in Scotland. Many people much more talented and intelligent than me have offered advice at commencement. So what can this burned out teacher and coach share with the graduates? Some who have even told me, "Hey Kerrigan, you can't be burned out because you were never on fire." In my pouch, I have 6 very magical rocks. These rocks were given to Mr. McLeod by his great-great-grandfather, McDewey McLeod, who was a direct descendant of the original Highlander. I'm going to place each of these rocks on the podium and read to you the message they carry for our incredible seniors. It will bring good luck to anyone who holds them. After the seniors walk out, the Highlander, that's me, will offer a rock to the first 6 children under the age of 10 that can do a little dance. First rock. Look around you. We are all very fortunate. We live and work in a beautiful place. This rock tells me, don't just become a product of your environment. Make your environment a product of you. With much student and parent support, I have helped in the development of 5 miles of trails winding through our beautiful campus. I am very proud of that. But I am most proud of the fact that I have touched the lives of my students. My former students are now my dentists, nurses, lawyers, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, and best of all, my friends. I have helped to shape their lives and our environment. I hope you can do the same. There's another rock in there. Respect and learn from everyone you meet, no matter what position in life they have. Look at everyone as an individual. Put the iPhone down and look them in the eye. Learn not just from your college professors, but also the bus drivers, secretaries, custodians, the guy who plows your driveway or delivers your firewood, the mailman. They all have something they can share with you. Listen especially to your parents and grandparents. They have walked in your shoes. Everyone you meet knows something you don't. Respect their knowledge and learn from them. third magical rock tells me, be assertive. Stand up for yourself and the rights of others, and especially those that don't have the skills or ability to stand up on their own. Support members of our community, as many of you did during Hurricane Irene when you were freshmen. Those here that are the products of the 60s and 70s know what I mean. Yes, you may be chastised. Yes, you may even get shot by water cannons, as happened to many of us in the 70s. If you want to play it safe and you want to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing. I have another little prop here. You know, my favorite animal is the turtle. Yeah, he can stay warm and cozy, hiding in his shell. But when he faces a challenge, he really has to stick his neck out. Instead of hiding in a shell, you will have to go out and meet your problems head on. Stand up, speak out, take action, like the turtle, stick your neck out. Next rock. This rock is telling me, this magic rock tells me, get out of your comfort zone. We are all running a cross-country race. Life is full of challenging hills and many starting lines. All you need to do is keep running forward. I often tell my runners that they are running too comfortably, that they should enter the house of pain. I would remind all of you that you must do the same. Leave the comfort of the Mad River and Winooski Valleys. Work hard, take risks. When you start to feel pain, you will know you are making a difference in the world. What you will discover will be wonderful. You will discover your inner being. You will discover yourself. Some people would say that Harwood has no spirit. Harwood has spirit. The Harwood community spirit is present, but it's hidden. It's understated. It shows itself only when it's needed. I was on the receiving end of the Harwood community spirit this past December. I experienced a grave family tragedy. Harwood students, faculty, and even administrators that I battled with supported me immensely. Continue to stand up for others and support people in their time of need. The next magic rock tells me, follow your passion. Your time on earth is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Have the courage to follow your own heart. Or, as Ellen DeGeneres says, follow your own path. Unless, of course, if you're walking in the dark and you're lost in the woods and you see a path, take that one. And the last magical rock. This is a very important rock. Become part of something bigger than yourself. Now we get to talk about our friend, the skeleton. Some would say, he's just a skeleton. What message can he convey? What can we learn from a skeleton? You can see he's got a Kerrigan's Army t-shirt on. He is here today because he conveys a message to the graduates. Harwood cross-country runners have embraced their Army. It is part of them. They are part of it. All members have something to give. It's not just about winning. It's about contributing with spirit, encouraging an injured or sick teammate to finish. It is the spirit you feel when you witness one of your teammates near the back of the pack fighting for position. It is the pride you feel when your team wins a state title. Maybe you did not run varsity that day, but you were there every day competing with the Jacob Palmerios and the Sam Nishis. You encouraged them, and they encouraged you. This is what teammates do. This is what families do. This is what communities do. This is my wish for the class of 2015, a very, very special class. Some of you have already been part of some great things. Support each other because you are part of something much bigger than yourselves. You all have a common bond that you will carry with you the rest of your lives. Okay, I'd like to, Thomas and Ivan, come on up here and grab Mr. Skeleton for us. We're going to bring the skeleton over here. We're going to do a cheer. Okay, like everybody stand up. Okay, we're going to do a little cheer. The class of 2015 is the last time you guys are all going to be together. We're going to show some